Hi, I'm designer Mary Ann Burry for DTE Energy with tips to make your home beautiful and safe this holiday season. Nothing adds warmth and sparkle to your home like strands of lights on your holiday tree. Before you put even one light in place, you always want to do a quick safety check. First, whether you're purchasing new lights or using ones you packed away last winter, make sure you're using lights that have been approved by a nationally recognized testing organization like Underwriters Laboratory. You can tell by looking for the label. Next, examine every strand for signs of damage. Specifically, you want to look for things like frayed cords, cracked sockets, loose wires, or bent plugs. Using damaged lights can cause shock or even fire, so it's important to make sure what you have is in working order. Once you know your lights are in good shape, it's time to get down to work. A common mistake people make is to plug one strand of lights into another, and another, and another. It can cause your lights to overheat, and that can cause a fire. You should never connect more than 3 strands of lights together. A good idea for your tree lights is to use an extension cord like this, made specifically for plugging in multiple strands. The sockets have multiple outlets so that you don't have to plug the strands into each other. It not only is a safer way to do your lights, but it also makes it easier to determine which strand of lights is not working. Start by attaching the top of the cord toward the top of your tree. Make sure that it's fastened securely. And as you work down through the tree, push the cord toward the back between the branches so that you don't see it. The locations of the plugs will be spaced throughout the tree, and then you can plug in your individual light cords and they won't cause problems with fire or overloading the circuits. I've plugged my first strand of lights into the extension cord you just saw installed on the tree, and I'm going to start always at the top, working the way down. The branches are shorter up at the top, so I tuck the lights into the center of the tree, in between each row of branches. Sometimes you can even spin your piece of tree around to make it a little easier, but it's not necessary. As you go through putting the lights on, that's a good time to also fluff out the branches of the tree that possibly got pushed down during their storage over the last year. As you keep working down the tree, you'll notice that the branches get longer. And once you get to a point where the branches are more than a foot long, you start putting the lights back and forth on the branches rather than merely wrapping them around the tree. And the way I do this is fold the lights, put them on top of the branch, and use 2 sets of opposite branches like a bread bag twist tie, and that'll hold your lights in place. You don't have to overly secure your lights because your tree's not going anywhere. It's just going to be standing in the room. I think some people feel they need to over-secure lights on a tree. And then I go in the back of the tree and once again fold over the lights, find 2 opposing branches and use them like those bread bag twist ties once again. That will hold them in place. And remember, when you're putting your lights on, always have them lit. That indicates where they're going on the tree, as well as you know that you have a working strand of lights. Another thing to consider is connecting your lights to a remote. It eliminates the need to reach behind the tree to turn out the lights, and that helps to avoid accidentally tipping over the tree. For all your holiday lights, inside or out, you might also want to consider putting them on a timer. It's a good way to ensure your lights are turned off at night, just in case you forget. Now that we've checked our lights, have our cords, remotes, and timers in place. It's time to start decorating. Most designer trees that you see in catalogs and stores have 3 times the amount of lights and ornaments that you'll probably put on your tree. But we have tricks that can help you make your tree beautiful too. When I decorate a tree, I always start with the lights, followed by ribbon, floral picks, and finally ornaments. A lot of people like to wrap lights around the branches of their tree. I don't recommend this. Not only does it not look as nice, but more importantly, it damages the cords and can be a fire hazard. Now that we have our lights on the tree, it's time to do the ribbon. But first, let's turn the lights on to make sure they work. That's why I love using remotes. When you start with your ribbon, especially when it's as wide as this ribbon, pinch it together, find those 2 opposed branches like we did with the lights, and use the same bread tie twist. Then start working your way down the tree and get a sense of about how far apart you want your ribbon to be. You start working around the tree and do the same technique each time you attach it to the tree. Pinch the ribbon together, find your 2 branches, and twist them around the ribbon. I'm going to keep working around the tree, and when I'm finished, we'll see the tree fully ribboned. Now it's time to add another designer touch to the tree, which are taking artificial picks and finding a place to put them in. If you notice, many designer trees have quite an extensive top, and it's almost as though we're making an arrangement with flowers, but using a decor that goes along with your tree. I've chosen these fun red picks, and they'll add a lot of texture and interest to the top of the tree. They can then be brought down throughout the tree like this, and about the first third of the tree I put picks in like this so that they're coming out of the tree. As I work my way down, I flip the pick over so that it comes out of the tree like this. And it just seems to work better with the way a tree grows naturally. Going back very quickly to the ribbon, the artificial tree, as you remember, we can use the branches to twist around the ribbon. If you have a live tree, what you want to do is cut pieces of wire and use those to attach the ribbon to the tree. Now we'll go back to the rest of the picks. Now that we've done the ribbon and the picks on the tree, it's time to put on the ornaments. Keep a few things in mind. If you hang an ornament and it bumps into another part of the tree, it doesn't look as lovely. What you want to do is find a space so that the ornament hangs freely. Also, on designer trees, the ornaments aren't just put on the outside of the tree. They're also hung on the inside to give a more depth look to your ornaments. And finally, yet most importantly, don't ever hang an ornament on a light cord. That could cause a fire. When you leave the house or it's time to go to bed, don't forget to turn out the lights. Nothing is more important than keeping you and your loved ones safe. So when decorating this holiday season, be sure to make safety one of your holiday traditions. For more information about electrical safety, go to dteenergy.com.